Okay, so in this video I want to talk about positive and negative acceleration. And a lot of people have a hard time understanding what's going on with positive and negative acceleration. Okay, a lot of people feel that negative acceleration means slowing down and positive acceleration means speeding up, but that's incorrect. Now, the acceleration due to gravity is always negative 9.81 meters per second. So, what some people feel that's incorrect is that when I throw up the ball, it's going to slow down, which means it's going to have negative acceleration, and then it's going to speed up, which means that it has positive acceleration. So they're going to feel that it's going to be negative, positive, negative, positive. But that's not the way it is. The way it is the acceleration due to gravity is always pointing down. So even when it has a positive velocity, it's got a positive velocity that is going to zero. So positive velocity going to zero at the top, positive to zero is a negative change. And then going from zero to negative, that's also a negative change. So it goes positive to zero, which is negative, and zero to negative, which is also negative. So negative 9.81 all the way. Another place where people get stuck is they feel, I say, right up at the top of its flight. What's its acceleration right up at the top of the flight? And a lot of people say at the top of the flight, the acceleration is zero. Incorrect. All the way through the entire motion, gravity is always pushing it down. So the acceleration, when it is out of my hand, anytime it's out of my hand, the acceleration is negative 9.81 meters per second squared. Negative, negative, negative. Negative, negative, negative. Now, let's throw in some other things. In this moment, pop. Right when it pops out of my hand, in that little short moment when I'm applying a force to shoot it upwards, that's when it has positive acceleration. So right now it has zero velocity, and right when it leaves my hand, it's going to have positive velocity. So how does it go from zero velocity to positive velocity? Well, I must be applying a positive acceleration. Now, also, when it comes back down to my hand, when it comes back down, it's going in a negative direction, and so it's going from negative to zero. So how do you get from negative to zero? Again, I give it a positive acceleration. So just when the ball is in my hand, as I'm throwing it up, and as I'm catching it, I'm going to be giving it a positive acceleration. When it is out of my hand, all the way up and over and down, it's going to have a negative acceleration. So positive, negative, well, I can't say that fast. I can't say it that fast. Okay, positive when it's in my hand, negative when it is out of my hand. When I throw it down on the table, when I'm throwing it down, if I'm throwing it down, I'm giving it a negative acceleration. Once it leaves my hand, gravity is also going to give it a negative acceleration. When the ball is in contact with the table and is squishing down and rebounding up, for just the moment that the ball is in contact with the table, it's going to have positive acceleration. And then when it comes up and I catch it again, it's going to have, when it's coming up through the air, it's going to have negative acceleration. When it comes into my hand and I stop it, it's going to have negative acceleration. So the only place it's going to have positive acceleration is now. 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 Right when it hits the table is the only time that it has positive acceleration. Positive in this case is going to mean up. So negative when I throw it, negative when gravity is taking over, positive when the table is pushing up on it, negative as it rises and gravity is pulling it downwards, negative as my hand comes over the top of it and stops it. Okay, so that's positive and negative in terms of up and down. We can also have the same thing in terms of side to side. So, suppose I push this, and when I push it, I'm giving it a positive acceleration. So it's going to have positive acceleration. Now, we're going to ignore friction for a second, and we're just going to assume that when I've let go of it, it's going to coast, so it's going to have no acceleration. Positive, 0, negative, positive. Positive, 0, negative, positive. So, whether or not, if it's going from 0 to a positive velocity, then I'm giving it a positive acceleration. If it's coming back and it's going from a negative velocity to 0, if I take it from a negative velocity to 0 velocity, that's a positive acceleration. In the middle, when there's no forces acting on it, it has no acceleration. And then when it hits this thing, if I've said that this is positive velocity, then when it hits it, it's going from positive velocity to 0 to negative velocity. So all the time that it's in contact with this is pushing that way on it and giving it a negative acceleration. So again, we're going to say that this way is positive, that way is negative. So we're going to say positive velocity, 0. So 0, positive, 0, negative, 0. That's me talking in velocity speak. Once more in velocity speak, velocities. 0, positive, 0, negative, 0. In terms of accelerations, it's going to be positive, positive, 0, negative, 0, positive. Positive, 0, negative, 0, positive. Positive, 0, negative, 0, positive. And that's me speaking in acceleration speak. So the accelerations, one more time, positive, 0, negative, 0, positive. Okay, that's what I'm going to say about acceleration, and it's really a matter of one-on-one discussion.